Cougar Sports Saturday.
It's complete. Another touchdown!
Cougar Sports Saturday. A presentation of KSL Sports.
Left wing for three. He got it again!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Here are your hosts, Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Welcome back in. It's Cougar Sports Saturday. Halfway through, NFL draft is still rolling along. We're keeping tabs on that. Only Kingsley Suamataia has been picked, and boy, did he find a good home. We'll get to that in the next segment. But right now, Mitch, it's time to keep the competitive juices flowing.
The Cougar Sports Saturday Top 5. Mitch and Matt clash in a weekly battle of BYU sports knowledge. Here's the Top 5.
Thank you, Tim Hughes. Good sound, good imaging there. I like that. Top 5. Whenever this segment comes about, we bring in our producer, Nate Slack. Follow him on X, Nate Slack 5. He's always good for some great memes, some great commentary, some great insight on BYU, great passion as well. Nate, I always enjoy your top 5 list. They challenge us. What do you got on deck this week?
Yeah, so this one might be a little challenging as well, but one of the big stories this week, obviously, Dallin Hall and Richie Saunders returning.
What?
Kind of crazy, right? But I think it's been fun to watch BYU basketball still have things in the news. I know the offseason is typically kind of boring, but I think it's been fun to kind of...
When has it been boring for us? I feel like every year we've been here. The first year we did the show 5 years ago.
Open, I think it's been a lot better.
It has been.
Last year we were ramping up for the Big 12. This year we got KYU.
The only year that was tough was 2020.
Yes.
When I remember we had like Dave McCann on and we all kind of conceded like, we're not going to have a football season. But it was like,
I still
pretty
look
tough.
back fondly on that off-season string of shows here because we had so many great looking in the rearview mirror interviews with Max Hall and others.
We as people continue to get to know us over the years, and if you're a new listener, we appreciate you as well for listening. We always have no shortage of BYU storylines. We live this every single day, and that's why this segment, the Top 5, is always so fun because Nate challenges us with a list that we have not seen. We have nothing in front of us. So you were saying about Dallin Hall and Richie Saunders. What's this list going to be centered around then?
Yeah, so it's just I'm curious to see how good this team is going to be this year, and whether we like it or not. I think the best way to know if a team is good or not is how often they're ranked in the top 25. And I don't think the top 25 really has a lot of value, but it is kind of a barometer on how the nation views your program. And so for this week's top 5, we're going to be looking at the last 5 times that BYU basketball was ranked 5 weeks or more in a single season.
Okay.
So just give me the year. If say it was the 2005-2006 season.
So we need. I was just going to ask
year.
because the athletic year spans 2 calendar years, so we need the
NCAA tournament year. So if it's the 2005-2006 season, just say 2006.
Okay, great.
So this year would be the 2024.
Yes.
And we're going to be starting out with Matt.
How about that 2024 basketball team?
Nice. So crazy enough, this is actually tied for the second most appearances in the top 25 since 1980. So 16 weeks they appeared in the top 25.
It was a great year. There's no other way to slice it and dice it. It was probably, I don't know, this might be recency bias, but it does kind of feel like it was the best year of BYU basketball under Mark Pope, even though that first year there was a lot of highs and that team was really good, and I think they would have went further than this team obviously did in the tournament. But this team exceeded so many expectations. That first team, I remember one of my first show here, Mitch, we were talking about Yoli, is he coming back? And I'm like, if he comes back, like, 1, I think the door is open for him to come back, and 2, if he does, I'm like, this team's going to be good. Like, there's so much experience. TJ, Jake, like, this particular team, though, it was just hard to see them getting to the level they did in the preseason, and that's what made the season so much fun.
All right, Mitch.
2011, Jimmer's senior year.
So this is the most since 1980. 19 weeks they appeared in the top 25, but man, that was a fun team.
I believe this was a wire-to-wire one where they were preseason all the way to the final one. This is, that team, what else there to say? I mean, that was awesome season. You think Jimmer Fredette, Jackson Emery, Brandon Davies, Noah Hartsock, Abuo. I mean, that team was loaded at the top end of that roster. They were so good. It goes beyond Jimmer when you really slice that up. I mean, Charles Abuo was huge in that win over San Diego State. Davies was awesome. That was such a good BYU basketball team. And they had, I remember, too, some really good wins, too. San Diego State, of course. They went on the road, and I think they beat Dellavedova and St. Mary's that year. It's a forgotten win. Mm-hmm. There were some just really amazing victories in that season. Jimmer going from 40 feet against Utah, just a great season. That is, and I think what's interesting too is that was the season that really turned BYU basketball into more of a there's a section of BYU fans where basketball is their number one. I still think football is king in BYU sports, structure, power structure. But I'm telling you, that team created where, for some fans, basketball is their number one because of what Jimmer Fredette and that crew did.
And they had a lot of injuries, even like Steven Rogers, Chris Collinsworth. Davies wasn't even starting at the start of the season.
And, of course, he was suspended, and we don't, as Dave Rose once told us during the, the 2021 NCAA tournament, he's like, yeah, I thought about that once, what could have been, and then I just got depressed after. I'm like, thanks, Coach. I've done it the last 10 years, man. I've just been thinking about that. Anyway.
That Collinsworth injury, too, is probably the most devastating of them all because that dude was so good at Provo High. And he would have been so impactful because you would have had depth and size with him. That injury still is painful to think about because if that team was fully healthy, no injury. Look, we don't live in a world of perfect scenarios, even in our personal lives, but had that been that perfect scenario where your roster was whole, wow.
What was
and
fun,
then on top of that, what if Tyler Haws doesn't go on a mission? I'm like,
what's also amazing, too, about that team, just kind of before we move on, it was also similar to this past year where there was kind of they were in the national conversation so much. That's what made, I think, this past year fun for BYU Hoops was that the nation was locked in on BYU with being in the Big 12. And that year, I mean, they were generating national headlines because of Jimmer. They were never on national TV. They're on the Mountain. They're on Versus. They're on CBS Sports, College Sports Network. It was amazing how they were just everyone was talking about them despite being on these networks no one could see.
Peak Sports Center at that time as well. So
yes, that's true as well. Jimmer just hopping on Sports Center. That was good times.
So 2024 and 2011 are off the board. Back to Matt.
What about 1982?
We appeared in the AP Top 25 1 week that year.
Let's go with 1981, Danny Ainge's senior year.
Wow.
16 times that year, but it's not one of the five most recent.
Wow. Interesting. Well, let's go 1993.
They appeared 4 times, but again, not very recent.
1988, they catapulted to number 2 that year. Oh, wow.
They appeared 9 times, but there's 5 more recent.
What?
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Whoa. That's very interesting. Let's go with 2021.
They were only ranked 1 week.
Yeah. Let's go with 2010, Jimmer's junior year.
Nice. I think that's one of the forgotten years. So NCAA tournament
totally
win.
is. 'Cause all I remember about that year is mono. Jimmer and mono.
Right.
Well, and you look at Ken Palm, that's the best team in BYU history the last 30 years as far as rating in Ken Palm.
Wow.
2010.
Interesting. That was the year where you had Haws as a freshman. Mm-hmm. You had Mike Lloyd off the bench, who was fantastic. JT was a good player as well. Now that you start to talk about that roster, really great team.
And they won an NCAA tournament game against a power conference team, against Florida. You'd have to go back a long ways to find, BYU's last win over power conference teams in the NCAA tournament. So Pretty impressive team in 2010. Who's up now?
Oh boy, I think we're gonna go to Mitch. This is for the win, by the way.
Let's see here. Let's go with 2022.
Only 3 weeks in the top 25.
Did they get up to number 12?
Yeah, after the Oregon win.
Okay, yeah.
And then they sharply fell out.
Yeah,
They lost
UVU loss. And
What was crazy, too, about that UVU loss, this was on the heels of COVID. They were all sick that time. I'm thinking, we've come a long way in short order. Like, they all got the flu, and they're playing. And anyway, it was just, remember, it was no post-game interviews. They all got the flu. They got to get home. Like, is it just more that you lost to
just
UVU? It's Fordos AMAC? What?
Connor Harding. All right, Matt.
2002.
Okay, how about, let's go with, I feel like there's a year with Playsted. Let's go 2007.
They were ranked 3 times.
Okay.
2006.
They were not ranked.
Yeah. How about 2009?
They were ranked for 1 week.
2001.
They were not ranked.
Okay. How about 1991?
More recent.
Have I said 2015 yet?
Nope. And nope.
That was the year they played Ole Miss in the tournament, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's reset everything here. I'm up 2-1.
You're up 2-1, and off the board we have 2024, 2011, and 2010.
And again, it's the number of weeks in the top 25.
Yeah, so the last 5 times BYU is ranked 5 weeks or more in a single season in the top 25. So we're missing number 2 on the list and number 5.
Let's go with 2012.
No weeks.
2013.
No
Come
weeks.
on.
Okay, I don't feel good about this because I feel like they had a losing streak. But 2014? Yeah, they had that 4-game losing streak where they lost to a bunch of WCC teams. Never mind. I can't remember.
You guys have been in the right ballpark.
Jeez.
You guys are kind of dancing around number 5 on this list.
Really dancing around. 2016.
Yeah, those. Oh man.
I don't feel like they were ranked all that often in the
No.
big chunk of the 2010s.
Yeah, there's no way. There's just no way.
In this year, BYU was a perfect 18-0 at home.
How about 2004? Oh,
No weeks ranked in 2004.
really? Interesting.
Oh, my goodness. Let's go with... I can't even keep track of the years that we've guessed at this point. This has been tough.
In this year, BYU took down number 6 Louisville, and then lost to number 1 North Carolina in Vegas by 10. But it was a close game.
Did we say 2017 already?
We did not, but that's not on the list.
2007. What?
We're close. Not 2007. 3 weeks they were ranked in 2007.
2004.
Okay.
Oh, it's been guessed already.
2000.
Well,
Okay, since
give
it
me
was
the buzzer.
It was 2000. It was 2008.
2008.
2008.
Because
Yeah.
2007 is when they played Louisville and North Carolina in the Orleans, and Dickie V's on the call. Tyler Hansborough versus Trent Playstead. This Trent Playstead, baby! He's scintillating! He's
Really? 8,
sensational!
9, and 10. 3 years in a row. Huh?
Yeah.
I
And-
knew there was a Trent Playstead year because those teams from like 07 to 09.
Oh, was it 8, 10, and 11?
Yeah, 8, 10, and
Okay.
11. 9 and they were still good, but yeah, 2008 they were really good. They took down number 6 Louisville.
Yep.
They hung with number 1 North Carolina in Vegas, and then they hung tight with number 9 Michigan State in the Delta Center across the street, but they lost.
I was there for that one. That was a really good game. That's when the Delta Center, they could get good teams to go there.
Yeah.
Now they can't. It's just
Fresno State.
I mean, and I know now you're in the Big 12, you don't need to, but it would be cool if you're going to play a game in the Delta Center. Don't give us Fresno. Don't give us like some, scrub. Give us a Michigan State in Salt Lake. No, that's good. Listen, that's one of those teams, 08, that again, I think, it kind of highlights how much bigger of a platform BYU basketball has taken because of Jimmer. Because that team does not get remembered at all. Like,
no.
Yeah.
I think I remember it, but I don't feel like I represent like not everyone's consuming this every single day.
Right.
The fans that have jobs and whatnot, they don't probably remember that 08 team, but that was a really good squad. And if I'm not mistaken, that Louisville team was the one that had the sanctions that brought down Patino.
Yeah.
They had the player that they had all the off-the-court salacious scandals.
Oh, boy.
That was the team they beat. And Louisville was good back then, too. So, yeah, that's a good list. I forgot that was the team, but pulled it off.
Well done, Mitch.
When you
Real
gave that
quick.
hint, it was all she wrote.
Real quick, you guys are missing number 2 on the list. I'll give it since we're a little short on time, but you guys never said 2020.
I said 2020.
I could have sworn Matt said that.
Oh.
Yes, I know that I did.
Pretty sure Matt did. That's why I didn't say it, or else I would have.
Whatever. All right. Controversial board operations here at
the good thing
downtown
is we have
Salt
a
Lake.
recording, so we
That's
can
right,
go
we
back
can
and
go
run
back
the
and
tape.
listen. Yeah.
Maybe get the instant replay. Hey, we can go to the monitors. We'll go to the monitors. We'll go look at it, and then we'll take our break. Good stuff, Nate. Top 5 here on Cougar Sports Saturday. If you missed any part of that, go check it out on the podcast feed. Taking a break. On the other side, we'll continue to talk more BYU basketball and football here on Cougar Sports Saturday.